is finally here. The grandest stage of them all. We've waited all season for this. And now it's finally here with the two best teams in each conference going head to head for football's biggest prize, the Lombardi Trophy. Welcome everybody to the Super Bowl edition, the second annual Super Bowl edition of G&T Sports Talk. I'm Bobby Thompson.
I'm Julian Gallardi, and for everyone watching the YouTube video, once that comes out, we are suited up for the Super Bowl. This is happening again. Although last year we actually suited up for playoffs, this year is Super Bowl. So Now we need to talk about something that took place before the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, I'm not going to go too much into this, but I just want to acknowledge what took place over the weekend. Everyone knows what took place with Kobe Bryant by now. I just feel it's not right to talk about anything else until we address this. We haven't had the chance to air this out publicly yet, but I just want to send my condolences to the Bryant family, Gianna, everyone else that died in the plane crash. I know Aaron Judge and Jeff McNeil's old baseball coach, I believe his whole family also died. So 9 people in total, RIP, my condolences. The sports world's really mourning the loss. I know someone that lives out in Los Angeles said they're really feeling it. LA's empty without him. It's not the same. And they have huge tributes at the Staples Center. The game was supposed to play tonight, but they canceled it. I understand it. I thought the game should have been canceled that day. But that's about all I have to say on this right now. Bobby, you have anything?
It's so tragic. I do agree that I don't think we could get started on this without acknowledging just what he meant to not only the sports world, Los Angeles, but sports in general. He was one of the greatest sports athletes of all time. This is extremely tragic. When I first got the alert on Sunday, I thought it was a hoax. I couldn't believe it. My heart goes out to not only his family, but everybody in that crash that lost their life on Sunday. It's unfathomable what happened. Kobe, you will be truly missed throughout the sports world. Thank you for everything you did, not only for basketball, but for sports. My heart goes out to his daughter that unfortunately passed away as well. Everybody in that plane crash lost their life. It's so tragic. It's extremely sad. And before we end this, I will say, I still can't believe it. I still think it's a dream. Everyone's saying that. It's weird. Waking up and you're seeing pictures of Kobe in his jersey, hugging his daughter with halos over the head. It's hard not to get a little choked up on that. It's really sad. So, like we said, G&T, our hearts go out. Our condolences go out to everybody's family who lost a loved one in that horrible helicopter crash.
Yeah, it's really tragic. Kobe was a 5-time champion. He was 4th on the all-time scoring list, and his last tweet was to LeBron James, passing him for 3rd, saying moving the game forward. And it's really sadly ironic that ends up being his last tweet, but to me it's like, in a weird way, almost the way he would have wanted it to be.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely the way he wanted it to be. It's just, I just still can't believe it.
Yeah.
Just can't believe it.
Although the impact and legacy he will have to live on forever, and he did want that, so he could take solace in that at least. Hopefully he's looking down and smiling right now with his daughter. So
Absolutely.
We'll move forward to the Super Bowl, much lighter terms. I know everyone is looking forward to this to get their minds off that. I feel like get ourselves back into football. This is the biggest game of the year, and we got the 2 best teams in each conference, and we got the 49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs, 14-4 on the season. 49ers 15-3 if you count the playoff wins, and the Chiefs. So Bobby was saying before the show we were going to talk about how they got there and all that, go through the journey. So with the 49ers, man, this team was picking 2nd overall. They took my boy Nick Bosa, who I've been screaming about for months, and he's proven me right at every turn. He has 3 sacks this postseason. Guy's just been a monster. They get a full season of Jimmy Garoppolo. They have an emergence of Robert Mosar, who had 4 touchdowns and has 278 yards during his playoff run. They get Tevin Coleman in there, who has 126 yards and 2 touchdowns. They get Sanders through a trade who's been quiet because the passing game's been quiet. We'll get to that more later. They add Deebo Samuel, who's been a threat in the passing game, receiving game. Wow. Rushing game, receiving game, and special teams. There we go. Then they have this guy Bourne who's kind of come up out of nowhere too. The 49ers have a lot of unsung heroes. That defense is ferocious. We've talked about that at length. And the 49ers are a smash-mouth football team. They want to pound the ball down your throat. They want Garoppolo to manage the game and not make any mistakes. That's how the 49ers have gotten to this point. You want to talk about the Chiefs' journey a little bit?
Well, the Chiefs' journey is a lot different than what the 49ers' journey was to get to this big game. The Kansas City Chiefs, they came off 2018. They were the number one seed, the best team in football in the AFC, arguably. Offense tremendous. Their one knock was that how bad that defense was. They took that terrible loss. Well, I love the loss to the Patriots in the AFC Championship game in Arrowhead. They had that game won. If it wasn't for D Ford lining up offsides.
And now hopefully playing against the Chiefs. That's a big storyline, actually.
That is
it's being overlooked, I feel like.
Yeah, it's definitely overlooked. We'll see how that storyline gets played out throughout this game. But anyway, this year, 2019 for the Kansas City Chiefs wasn't the best. The first game of the year, if you remember, Tyreek Hill goes out with injury. He's out for the next 5 to 6 games. Sammy Watkins was an absolute stud in his absence. 3 touchdowns in his absence. 3 touchdowns in week 1. And here's a stat for you. Sammy Watkins had 3 touchdowns all year, all coming week 1. Did not score a touchdown since week 1.
Wow, well, he does have one in the playoffs, but
yeah, he does have one in the playoffs, but the rest of the regular season, he was not really as productive as he was week 1. But
that's really something.
Here's the thing: they took a lot of early losses. They were 2-2. They weren't They were not playing well. They did add a big piece on defense. They added Tyrann Mathieu, who's definitely changed that secondary, and that was a weak spot. Frank Clark getting in from Seattle after letting go of D Ford. They still have Chris Jones in the fold, an absolute stud up the middle. This linebacking core, led by Anthony Hitchens, is getting a lot better. And the thing is with the Kansas City Chiefs, as the year went on, they got better. The offense picked it up. Patty Mahomes missed 2 games with that knee injury. Everyone thought he lost it. He was out for the year, if you remember.
Yeah, I think 2 or 3, yeah.
It was 2. It was 2. He only missed 2. I remember that. He did not miss 3. They said he could miss 2 to 4, and he was back in 2.
Oh, I think it's like he left the game and then he missed 2. Yeah. So it's probably like it was 2 full once you got it.
So Patty Mahomes, he comes back, doesn't miss a beat, plays his heart out, had a great season. Tyreek Hill comes back, he doesn't miss a beat. Travis Kelce is starting to separate himself as being the best tight end in football.
Or Kittle, maybe.
And this Super Bowl it's the battle of the 2 best tight ends in the NFL. But with the Kansas City Chiefs this year, when they beat the Patriots in Foxborough this year, even though as controversial as that was, they took off. They did not lose another game. They were lights out, and they secured that number 2 seed. And what have they done with it? They have overcome a 24-0 deficit in the divisional game against the Texans, erase it with no problem. In 9.5 minutes, that turned as fast as a snap of Thanos' fingers. That's how fast they came back in that game.
Yep.
In the AFC Championship game, they started out slow. You saw it. The Titans scored early. And then they just lit it up. The Kansas City Chiefs, that's what they did. Patty Mahomes played tremendous. Damian Williams playing his heart out, lights out. Tyreek Hill playing great. Travis Kelce has been a stud this postseason. And that is where they are right now. They are in the Super Bowl. They should have been in it. They feel like they should have been in it last year. I feel, in my opinion, they're a better team this year than they were last year due to the defense. I still think the Chiefs' run defense needs a little bit of work, but they're a lot better than they were last year. Not a lot of holes.
I'll get to that.
So with this Super Bowl, I'll tell you what, it's definitely 2 teams that are very, very similar. Very similar game plans, except there's a huge difference in the quarterback position. We all know that.
Putting it mildly, man.
So with that, that's how these 2 teams got here. Great synopsis, Jules, of how the 49ers got here and the Chiefs got here. And on Sunday, it is going to be a game for the ages.
Yeah, another big storyline for me is Kyle Shanahan. How will he rebound after blowing that 28-3 lead, which I hate talking about, and it's the last time I'm ever going to mention this, hopefully. But how will he respond? Will he learn from that? Will he not make the same mistakes with the 49ers with a big lead? That'll be something to watch for. Also, you stated out something I'm really looking for as well. The start for the Chiefs in both playoff games has been very, very bad.
Yes.
They were down 10-0. They were down 17-7 against the Titans. The Texans, we've obviously outlined at length already. We don't need to talk about that anymore. And the 49ers have done quite the opposite. They've started fast. They've hit you in the mouth right away. So if the 49ers get a few points, they go up 14, 17, maybe even 21. I don't know if the Chiefs can do what they've been doing to the Texans and Titans, because the 49ers, no disrespect to the Texans and Titans, but they're in a way different class than both of those teams.
Absolutely, 100%.
Like it's day and night.
You get if the Kansas City Chiefs come out of this Super Bowl and they start as slow as they did in the past 2 games, they're in trouble.
That might be it for them.
Because the 49ers, they keep their foot on the gas pedal, and that defense is going to make you work.
Yeah.
This defensive line is going to make Patty Mahomes lose sleep at night, and I guarantee you he is.
I have some big numbers on that.
Let's hear it. Yes, let's hear it.
You got to look at all these sacks they've racked up. This is just playoffs alone. Nick Bosa, 3 sacks. Armstead, 2 sacks. D Ford, a sack. Colson has a sack. Williams has a sack. Buckner has a sack. Thomas has a sack. So if you count that up, I believe that is around 10 sacks in the playoffs.
10 sacks in 2 games. 5 a game. And here's the thing. The game plan for the 49ers defense is, 1, take Tyreek Hill, take the big play. You got to eliminate the big play, and you got to get to Patty Mahomes and bring him down. I think a huge thing this game that the Chiefs are going to have problems with is the 49ers aren't going to blitz. They don't need to blitz with this defensive line. Nick Bosa and company, Nick Bosa, Armstead, Buckner, D Ford, Thomas, all these guys, whoever is on that D line, this Chiefs offensive line is good. It's not elite. They're going to be tested, and I will say this is a prediction for me. Patty Mahomes will be sacked at least 3 times. That's my
okay.
And I think early he's going to be under pressure. They're going to hit him in the mouth, and they're going to make him earn everything and bring him down. You have to bring this guy down and do not let him extend the play. That's a big thing for the 49ers defense.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more about that. I have some inside stats I'll get to later, but let me just say this. That's a great point you made with the D-line and the blitz pickups and all that. The Chiefs are going to have their hands full with just 4 guys. Like we've seen routinely, we've seen 4 guys beat 6 guys like with ease in the playoffs with the 49ers. They're not saying the 49ers play cover 3 defense. They're going to rush 4 guys most times. They're not going to send many extra blitzers, but the thing is their line's so nasty they don't really have to, like you said.
Yeah.
So the key is going to be Mahomes, not so much running the football, which he's actually excelled at in this postseason, 100 yards and a touchdown. He has 8 TDs and no picks as well with 615 yards passing. Figure I'd throw that in there. Why not? And the Chiefs and 49ers have both given up 3 sacks in the playoffs. So the lines have held up pretty well, but they have not been tested like this.
No.
And the Chiefs D-line is nothing to sneeze at either.
No, not at all.
You got Frank Clark, who's been a wrecking ball this postseason with 4 sacks. He's been a big storyline. Then you got Kapasian. I don't know how to say this name. Kapasian or something for the Chiefs.
Number 92. Yeah. He's. If you guys don't know this, he's the guy who was barking at Deshaun Watson when they played in the divisional round, and you see Deshaun Watson mouthing, "Who is that?" That's who that is. He's been a surprise for them, this guy.
Well, he has 2 sacks in the postseason, so I don't know how to say his name, but he sacked the quarterback twice.
Number 92.
Daniel also has a sack, so I think the Chiefs have around 7 as a team, so they're nothing to sneeze at. Tail of the tape, we go position by position for some fun. Quarterback Chiefs by a wide margin.
Absolutely.
So 1-0 Chiefs. Running back is 49ers. Not even a discussion here. 1-1. Wide receivers, who you got?
Wide receivers, Chiefs.
Yeah,
just the speed that they have at the wide receiver position is second to none. With Tyreek Hill, McCole Hardman, Sammy Watkins, and also another thing is Demarcus Robinson. I think Demarcus Robinson, but he's not really known, but he makes a lot of big plays. I think he's better than some of these guys in the 49ers. But the 49ers wide receivers, led by Emmanuel Sanders, who's been a godsend for them, and Deebo Samuel, who's been nothing but a stud, I think that they just have too much speed. They're big plays for the Chiefs wide receivers. That's why I'm giving the nod to the Chiefs with this one in the category of wide receiver position, definitely.
Yeah, it's a close call for me, actually, even with Tyreek Hill, because I actually like the depth on the Chiefs better than the options behind Tyreek Hill. I mean, I like the depth on the 49ers better than the options behind Tyreek Hill, but he's so much better than any other receiver, so I still have to give it to Chiefs. I think the tight end game is where it gets really interesting between George Kittle and Travis Kelce.
Yeah. You want to hear what I say? I'm going to tell you, to me, I can't pick one of these guys. It's a pick 'em for me. Depends on your preference. Yeah. Honestly, they're just so dominant, both of them. The one thing I will say, I think George Kittle is a better blocker than Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, Travis Kelce. I used to knock this guy. I
cannot. Used to hate him.
I used to. Listen, I just think he's smug. But you know what? He backs it up, man. He's very good.
I gotta say, he definitely does.
I never. Here's the thing. If I knocked on him, I'm only joking around. I know how good he is. I know what he brings to the table. All his antics. He's a great player. He's showing it. He comes up every week and does the same thing. He produces every week. And the same with George Kittle. This guy was nobody getting drafted out of Iowa. He comes in and he just lights it up. He's a game changer. He's a complete mismatch when he's on that football field. He's been getting compared to Rob Gronkowski. People comparing him to Gronk. Pump the brakes on that. He's not there yet. But he's very, very good, George Kittle. These two tight ends, the thing with me is the way I see it is I really can't pay. It's a pick 'em for me. Depends on the days. I'll tell you this. If I was in a fantasy draft right now and they were both right there and I had to pick, it would literally take me to the last second to pick one of these guys. So to me, I'm going to give it a tie to both.
It's so tough, man. Kelce is but you can even group that with the wide receiver and tight ends. You could argue in the same group, honestly.
True,
if you
very true.
That. So,
very true.
If you put it that way, I still give the edge to the Chiefs, I would say. But look, the tight end game is so close. Like you said, Kittle's a better blocker, but Kelce's a better route runner to me.
Yes, agree.
But the thing is that when you have but after the catch might be Kittle, though, because when Kittle gets the ball in his hands, no one can bring him down. Kelce's tough, too, obviously, but, I feel like Kittle's yards after catch are completely underlooked sometimes.
It's
he can literally take a 5-yard dump pass and take it to the house from almost anywhere.
He could take a screen at the line of scrimmage and turn it to a 50-yard gain.
We've seen it.
It's crazy.
It could happen at the drop of a hat.
Yep.
And so I want to look at some stats a little bit. Jimmy G has not been asked to do much, and that's going to be a big storyline here as well. He's only thrown the ball 27 times in both games, just over 200 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 pick. And I know we both agree here that it's not going to quite get it done this time.
No,
the 49ers will not win the Super Bowl if Jimmy G doesn't pass for more than 200 yards. That's a hot take for me, but I'm going to go with it.
Here's the thing. The 49ers aren't going to be tested they haven't been tested like they're going to be tested on Sunday.
No.
And here's the thing. Jimmy Garoppolo, the plan is to run the football with Raheem Mostert and all the running backs they have.
Yeah.
Coleman, Burita.
Wilson, maybe.
Yeah.
Whoever, Deebo Samuel, even.
Who's ever in the backfield.
Doesn't matter.
But here's the thing. They're going to need Jimmy Garoppolo to make the plays. Because at some point, the Chiefs are going to stop that run. And then it's all on Jimmy G.
Yeah, they did it to Derrick Henry, so the Chiefs showed they're capable, although the rush defense is very spotty at times.
Yes, it's very inconsistent.
In the playoffs, the Chiefs have given up 115 yards a game on the ground.
So Kyle Shanahan sees that as the blueprint. And here's the thing. I agree with you. Jimmy Garoppolo has to throw the football with efficiency, and he cannot turn the ball over. You turn the ball over, and you lose the turnover battle, with these guys, the Chiefs, that's a recipe for a loss in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No, you can't. You have to make the plays. 200 yards, I agree, and you have to convert on third down.
Mm-hmm.
The big plays, and
big.
You have to convert. I cannot stress this enough. And this is another thing. 49ers, you can't get in a hole to these Chiefs. You cannot fall into a hole. Like we were talking about a few minutes ago, if the Chiefs start out like they have the past 2 games, they're in trouble. Same with the 49ers. If they start out slow and the Chiefs get 2 possession scores and you guys don't respond, you're in for a long night in Miami, my friends.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, honestly. And it's going to be a great matchup. Both teams need to play with leads, basically. It's going to be tough to come from behind, but I think you'll see some back and forth. when they go through some receiving numbers, and I'm just going to say more how Jimmy G needs to get these guys. Kittle only has 35 yards and 4 catches. Sanders only has 2 catches for 33 yards. Deebo Samuel actually leads all 49 receivers with 88 yards. And then Bourne has 4 catches for 46 yards. Mm-hmm. That's just, you need to do a lot more than that. It's not going to work in this game.
These guys have to be more involved. Those numbers are eye-opening to me. That the fact that
it's not enough.
All these weapons are hardly getting the ball, and the 49ers are still winning just shows how good they are. But they haven't asked Jimmy Garoppolo to get them the ball.
Well, the thing is, like, they've also been playing with big leads. Like, they ended up winning 27-10. And they ended up, what was the other one, 37-20?
37-20, yes.
Yeah, 37-20. Yep. So that's what's been going on with that. The Chiefs, you see the playmakers way more involved. Travis Kelce, 13 for 164 and 3 touchdowns. Sammy Watkins, even 9 for 190. Leads all Chief receivers with that touchdown. Tyreek Hill, just 8 for 108 with 2 TDs. He's going to have to get more involved than he's been in this game. And Robinson has 35 yards as well. Hardman hasn't been doing so much in the passing game. He's been big in special teams and been in some spots. I know this, I'm sure you have as well.
Yes.
So we look at the tail of the tape. The Chiefs they ran for 115 a game. They gave up around 90 a game. The passing offense has thrown for 294 and 321, so that puts them at 615 around, give or take. And then you have the pass defense has been horrendous for the Chiefs. They've given up 237 and 388, so
unacceptable.
That's 625 total. And then you look at the total offense, the Chiefs have put up over 800 yards of offense, so that's pretty good, I would say. 838 yards. They've given up around 737 or so. And then you look at the pass, they've given up 237 and 3. I already said that. Okay, never mind. So the 49ers have ran for 285, and they ran for 186 in their other games. So they've rushed for well over 400 yards. The passing is just 77 yards, 131, like we said, just 208 yards total. And their total offense is 354. And then it was around the 350s again. The defense was giving up 358, and in the game against Minnesota, they gave up just 147. So those are the 2 games. The rush defense is giving up just 83 yards total. The pass defense is giving up around 500 yards total.
Wow, these are pretty eye-opening stats. Like I said, the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo's passed for a total of 208 yards this postseason is eye-opening, and they've won both games because they've gotten big leads. The defense has been there to help them out, and the run game has been so successful. And seeing all these numbers, this is a blueprint, for the 49ers is to, I think, you want to know what I think? You see these, the numbers the Chiefs secondary has let up is really eye-opening. And Kyle Shanahan, I think, you know what? I think he's going to put his faith in Jimmy Garoppolo. I think you're going to see them pass the ball a lot. I really do. I think they're going to run the ball. But those numbers, if I'm a coach and you see those 2 numbers that they've let up, that's crazy. These numbers that the Chiefs secondaries let up. Attack those corners. Yeah. Attack them. Get the ball to Emmanuel Sanders. Jimmy, you got to get the ball to Deebo Samuel's a stud. You got to get him the ball and have Emmanuel Sanders line him up. If you want to line him up in the slot, line him up on the outside and attack these corners, because these corners are going to have trouble with Deebo and Emmanuel Sanders on the outside. And these linebackers for the Chiefs are going to have trouble covering Kittle. It's going to be a problem. And another thing is, here's another hot take for you. The running backs are going to have a lot of catches for a lot of yards. He's going to do a lot. No, San Fran. San Fran. Okay. You are going to see Jimmy Garoppolo use the check down a lot. I think he's going to. If you see Raheem Mostert going up the seam, going on a bubble route, and he's going up the sideline, you see there, you quick pass, keep moving the chains. I think you're going to see a lot of that. I don't think they're going to ask Jimmy Garoppolo to throw the ball downfield, go for the long ball every time. They're going to have him take what the defense gives him and go make some plays. That's why, to me, the Chiefs secondary, if I'm the defensive coordinator, which is Steve Spagnuolo, by the way, who's no stranger to big games.
No, he's not.
He has 2 rings as a defensive coordinator with the Giants and stopped the best team in football, the best team that ever put, and arguably the best offense in the history of football, and stopped them and held them to only 14 points, and held Tom Brady. Can he do this now to Jimmy Garoppolo? I think you got to fix that up. And Tyrann Mathieu can't do it by himself. Breland, Fuller, all these cats out there. I said this. I'll tell you this. There's still the loss of Justin Thornhill, their rookie safety for the Chiefs, is really hurting them. But Sorensen has been good. But I can't stress this enough. You got to fix something, because I think that Kyle Shanahan sees that as a blueprint and sees that. I think that the Chiefs are going to say, oh, you know what? They're going to run the ball. That's going to be their bread and butter. I think the 49ers have a plan up their sleeves, and I could see Jimmy Garoppolo having a nice day, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've made a lot of great points. And we haven't even talked about Andy Reid yet. I don't know how. I feel
we got it. This is huge.
I'm actually like, wow, I can't believe this. He's actually the biggest storyline out of all of this almost. He's still looking for that Super Bowl. He's been coaching for around 20-plus years. Is that accurate? How many years has he been coaching? I got to be right.
It's got
to be around 20-plus at least.
Yeah, it is. It's around 20-plus, yeah.
All right, so he's one of the most accomplished coaches to never win a Super Bowl.
He's an offensive guru.
Yep, last time he was in the big game, 2004. This was ages ago.
I remember this.
Yes, the Patriots won the Super Bowl. God damn. Of course, we have to get back to this somehow. But you got it's fun. It's ironic you talk about a loss. I talk about a win. You would think it would be down there on the other shoe.
Right.
But regardless, Andy Reid is back for the first time in 16 years. So he's looking to cash in. He needs a big win. I'm rooting for him, and I really hope he gets it done. He's earned it. He's battle-tested. He's grinded. He's been through it all. He's been denied in the NFC, AFC championship game of how many times at this point? I've lost track. I think you have too, probably.
It's been a lot. Those 16 years, he's had great regular seasons, but when the going gets tough in the big games, he just can't get it done. That's been a knock on him.
It definitely has been, for sure. And where is this? It has been 20 years. Okay, good. So I had that right. Excellent. So... yeah, this is his moment, really. Everything's set up. The Chiefs are the favorite, barely, but they are. 1.5 points as we're speaking right now. That's the spread for everyone interested. And here's the thing with this game. The spread's so narrow that you're really basically just picking a winner at this point. Unless the Chiefs, I guess the 49ers will lose by 1, you can cover the spread in theory, but I don't think that's likely to happen. I feel like if you see a loss, there'll be like 3 points, 4 points maybe. I could be wrong, obviously. The over-under is 54.5. What are your thoughts on some of these numbers early on? We still got a few days to the Super Bowl, but I don't know if there's going to be much more movement. Someone said they expected the line to get to around a field goal for the Chiefs, maybe.
I'm not surprised it's a pick 'em. I think these teams are so evenly matched. It's definitely a pick 'em. I think that within the next few days, I think that, it's safe to say, I don't think the 49ers will be the favorite. I think the Chiefs, I agree, a field goal is about right. What's the over-under?
Over-under is 54.5.
I think, you want to know something? I think they could go over that.
I think so, too.
I think it's going to be a high-scoring Super Bowl, in my opinion.
I can see it also. The 49ers defense is tough, but I feel like it's going to have to be like you're keeping up with the points.
They haven't been tested like this all year, like they're going to be tested on Sunday.
No, they haven't been at all. And on the season, they actually slipped towards the end. They ended up finishing 9th, I believe, or 7th. Actually, they tied for 7th with KC in points allowed, basically. The Chiefs allowed 19.3 points. The 49ers allowed 19.4. How about that?
Unbelievable.
How about that for a stat? So their pass defense is lights out, though. That's the thing here. You've got a battle of a great passing offense versus a tremendous passing defense. Richard Sherman has 2 picks. Mosley has a pick for the 49ers as well. Is that how I say it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mosley.
It is Mosley.
He's the one who took over from Witherspoon.
Okay, yeah. So I had Mosley right here, but regardless, they have 3 picks. They're the best pass defense in the NFL during the season, even better than your Patriots if you look at the yards. Rushing defense, they actually were not as good as I thought at all. They were at 17th against the run, the 49ers.
Really?
112.6 giving up a game. I was surprised to see
I didn't think it was that low. Wow.
And then you look at the points. They've scored 29.9 points, second most in the league. Running the football, I knew this. We talked about this for weeks now. Second in the NFL behind Baltimore with 144 yards. Right. Their passing is 237, which puts them 13th. I think that's a little better than I expected, actually.
Yeah.
So you look at the Chiefs' rush defense. We talked about this in length. 26. This is a big problem for the Chiefs. This is a huge problem because the 49ers we've talked about at length. They're a smash-mouth power football team. 128 yards a game the Chiefs have given up, which puts them 26th. Their pass defense has actually been surprisingly stellar. Ranks 8th, around 220 yards a game. Yards per game, they give up 350, which is 17th. I already explained the points. When you look at their offense, the points are 5th, which I'm actually surprised it's that low. 28.2. Their rushing attack is not very great. 98 yards, ranks 23rd. Their passing attack is excellent, 280 and 5th. Their yards per game are 6 at 379. We're also going to get a call from James in around 3 minutes, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll get his intake about the Super Bowl, what he thinks and all that. But, yeah, you see all these numbers about the Chiefs and just, I think their running game, I think, if they had a good... If they ran the ball, if they were more effective running the ball, I think this offense would be unstoppable, in my opinion.
Yeah. The thing is, it's really disappointing.
It is.
Shady McCoy, I don't know what's going on. He hasn't. Really
I don't understand. I really don't understand this. You guys get him. You rest him a few games to say, he's rested up for the playoffs. You guys haven't even played him. This has been sad.
Yeah, I don't know what the story is. Is there like something else we don't know? Is he injured, or are they just not using him? Do they think he's done?
I don't think they're using him. I think they're just good with Darwin Thompson and Darian Williams.
Well, I mean, Williams hasn't been lighting the world on fire by any means.
Well, the thing with Williams is he's good with catching the ball. If you notice, he's very good catching the ball out of backfield.
Yeah,
and that's what Patty Mahomes uses him for.
Okay, I mean, he has 29 carries for 92 yards, which is nothing that jumps off the page. Obviously,
no,
just barely 3 yards to carry and 3 touchdowns. The receptions, okay, 7 for 65. I can get behind that a little bit, but McCoy can catch the ball too. But
of course he can, and McCoy, when he's on the field, he's a game changer. That's why I don't understand why the Chiefs are just leaving a historic game changer like Shady McCoy, how good he's been for his entire career, why he's just sitting on the sideline. It just doesn't make sense. Andy Reid, you had him in Philly for years. You know how good this guy is. Get him involved.
I actually have some background on that. You made a great point. So he said, McCoy has actually talked about this a little bit. He said that he's going to retire an Eagle, first of all.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's great
yes,
that
he did.
you bring that in. And then he also said that he's not ready to go just yet, and he still thinks he has some football left in him, which is curious as to why the Chiefs aren't using him.
True.
So I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure, really. Will they actually use him in the Super Bowl more? Do you think he'll get any looks? What do you think?
You know what? I think it's a Super Bowl. He's never been there, Andy Reid. Yeah, I think you have to get him involved at some point. If you're in the red zone, in my opinion, you're at the 3-yard line, give him a carry. Get him in the end zone.
Yeah, at least do that. I mean, I don't know.
He could be, if you're not going to use him as an every down back, at least use him as a third down back. He's a threat to catch the ball, and he's a threat to run it effectively. And he's so tough with his agility. He's hard to bring down, and he's very fast too. So even though he's gotten older, so the thing is, I just thought that's a head scratcher to me that Eric Bieniemy or whatever the hell is his name.
Bieniemy, I think.
Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator, and Andy Reid. That you guys have a game changer on that sideline. You're not even using him. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I'm not sure. Maybe he just doesn't fit the game plans.
I mean, right here, you know what? I think he has to. I think he fits in any game plan. To be quite honest with you, he's all you got. Just give him a few carries, get him involved in the passing game. Jules, you know how good he is catching the football.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too.
My only knock on Shady McCoy is how he holds the football. I don't like that. So now we got James, and let's get him in here.
I actually like that because I kind of held it like an idiot too. But it makes me feel a little better. But it is kind of crazy and reckless, I guess. He does hold it like out in the open and stuff.
Okay.
So we're gonna go to James. We're gonna get his pick, and then we're gonna give our picks after. And then I want to go through some props as well. See what you're thinking. James, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
We're just chilling, talking about the Super Bowl, breaking everything down. Looking forward to having you at the house in a few days. We're going to have a fun Super Bowl. and we're just going through like the X's and O's, kind of breaking down positional groups. So we didn't even do defense. Wow, we should talk defense with him a little bit too. But obviously, we want to know your pick, what you're feeling. Give us some X factors. How do you want to start it off?
All right, well, I'm going to start with the X factors, and I'm going to go with both teams. Starting with the Kansas City Chiefs, I think the biggest X factor for the Kansas City Chiefs is going to be Nico Hart. You're talking about a Kansas City offense that can explode, and you're talking about Tyreek Hill, that's 14 speed, you got Travis Kelce, who's good, but I think Nico Hart is a key X factor because when teams are going to try to take away the deep threat, which is Tyreek, try to take off the underneath route from Travis Kelce, Nico is going to be a guy that can not only help in the passing game, he can also help out with the run game as well. He's just a quick swing that hammer, he's just as fast as Tyreek, so he's going to be a big X factor. And for the 49ers, I think the big X factor is going to have to look at Deebo Samuel.
I like Deebo Samuel.
He's a guy that not only because on the 49ers, you got George Kittle and you got the running backs of Monster and Breida and Kevin Coleman, but Deebo Samuel is going to have to step up big because they're going to try to take away George Kittle, and Deebo's going to have a big game to help out Jimmy G because what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to stop the run and force Jimmy G to beat him through the air.
Right.
And one of his targets is going to be Deebo Samuel, so that's the next factor for me.
Excellent. Hey, James, what's up, buddy? I absolutely love your X factors. I agree with you 100%. I do think Mecole Hardman is going to be a big X factor here. They got to get him involved with that speed. And Deebo Samuel definitely has to be involved in this game because if he's not, they're in trouble because they're going to try to take away Emmanuel Sanders and George Kittle, and then Jimmy Garoppolo needs to get the ball to Deebo Samuel and to Bourne and Pettis, who else they line up at wide receiver.
Yeah, you guys are 100% right. Here's another thing I actually was going to bring up. Jimmy Garoppolo is actually very good at throwing the ball inside the numbers, which is why Kittle and Deebo are huge. But he's horrendous when it comes to making the outside throws, like outside the numbers. He's one of the worst in the league when it comes to that.
Absolutely. And during the regular season, I think if you looked at Deebo, we're looking at Jimmy when he's throwing outside numbers, he ranks dead last.
Yeah, he's bad.
He's up there with Mitch Trubisky.
Oh, God.
So he has to throw. What the Chiefs are going to try to do on defense, they're going to try to force Jimmy G to throw outside numbers, but they know he struggles at that. You also remember, too, when Jimmy G threw that interception against Minnesota, they completely cut the ball out of his hands and made it a running game because all they did was just straight running the ball.
Right.
For Kansas City, what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to make it a Jimmy G versus Patrick Mahomes game where Jimmy G is going to have to outperform Patrick Mahomes. And if it's a Jimmy G versus Patrick Mahomes game, the 49ers are in deep trouble.
Yes,
Yeah,
agreed 100%.
that's a Chiefs victory if it comes down to that. I think everyone agrees with that.
You can't. That's if it's Jimmy Garoppolo. If it's a Jimmy Garoppolo versus Patty Mahomes, no competition. That's gonna be a bloodbath. Oh God!
You might as well pack up and go home at that point.
Agreed.
Now on defense, if you're the 49ers, you can't drop back in coverage for this. There's no way. Patrick Mahomes has the ability where his receivers are so quick and so fast. You can't cover them for so long.
No.
They will get open. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to hit Mahomes, which means Bosa and Ford are going to have to go hunting. They're going to have to go attack Patrick Mahomes on there. That defensive line is going to have a good game if they're going to have to win the game. They're going to have to attack that Mahomes, make him go earlier than he has to do. Because if you look at what the Titans were doing earlier in the game, that's what they were wanting Mahomes to get rid of the ball earlier than he had to do.
Right.
All game long. It cannot be just a quarter. It's got to be all game long. That is how you're going to have success against the Chiefs. Making Mahomes throw when it needs to be, and also make Mahomes become a deep ball throw. Make him become a check down quarterback.
Yeah.
I agree. That Very well said, James. I agree with you 100%, man. This defensive line has to hit Mahomes and bring him down because, like you said, these receivers for the Chiefs are just too fast. And if that's the case and he has all day to throw, the 49ers are in a lot of trouble.
Now, if you flip it to the Kansas City defense, you have to shut down the run.
Oh, yeah.
Have to. I get it. Kittle and Sam. I get it. Kittle, Sam was on threat, but you have to commit to the run because the 49ers are going to run the ball.
Yes.
You're going to have to make this game less than like a yard or two for you to play and force, like we said, to become a big gunslinger. Because if Kansas City is allowing one of them to have 8 or 9 runs per carry, they're in a lot of trouble because what they'll do is they'll run the ball, they'll control the clock, which means less possessions for Patrick Mahomes, which means he won't be able to have enough time to score 20 to 24 points like that. So
yeah, I agree.
They're going to have to shut down the run.
Very, very well said.
Yeah, I agree. And you also brought up a good point, how the Chiefs have been starting the games horribly. The 49ers should take something from the Titans and the Texans, and they have to stay on them for every quarter. They can't just have a good start and just fizzle out and try to ride the run game. It's going to be harder for the Chiefs to come back against the 49ers, but the 49ers also can't let their foot off the gas, and Kyle Shanahan has to know that after what happened, which I said I wouldn't talk about again, but 28-3, like he's got to learn from that, hopefully, if they get a big lead for his sake in the 49ers.
I agree because Shanahan has to learn from his 23 meltdown is when you are running the ball, you have to continue running the ball. Look what he did against Green Bay. Look what he did against Minnesota. And attitude, you do that too. Run, and keep running. If you're averaging more than 5,000 carries, you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Anything less than that, and Jimmy G has to throw. That's a problem.
Like 4 to 5 is that soft spot to me.
Yeah, 4 to 5 is the money point. You average 4 to 5, then you're in great shape because you'll go from first 10 to second and 5 or second and 4, and that's just perfect money if you are the 49ers. Now, the other thing that we have to keep an eye on is special teams because
it's big.
The Chiefs special teams is pretty dang good with Hartman as their punt returner.
Agreed 100%.
Yeah, I mean, people understand special teams plays a factor. If you look back at Brady's first Super Bowl, because there's a parallel between Brady's first Super Bowl and now Garoppolo's first Super Bowl as a starter, special teams and defense were a big factor in Brady's success. So if Jimmy G has to take care of the ball because if you let turnovers and special teams for the Chiefs do well, then you're also going to have a bad game because now you're giving Mahomes a shorter field to work with, and you know if you hit Mahomes less than the 50-yard line and he's on your side of football, it's over. It's a wrap.
Just like the Texans won by giving him 30 yards with a fake punt. Like, if you give him on the good side of the field, it's basically 6 points. So.
Yes, yeah. They could score on the drop of a dime.
Absolutely. And if you look at this for Andy Reid, and Bobby, we talked about this earlier, Andy Reid needs a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know Jimmy G will probably have other chances because their team is so set to get back to the Super Bowl. But Andy Reid needs this Super Bowl.
Yes, this is for his legacy.
Look at his legacy. He has always been the guy that gets to the dance and doesn't take the go home.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Very
that's
good.
totally it. It is true.
He's the guy that
it's so good.
The girl, he talks to them, they go out, they go on the date, and they have a few dates, everything goes well, but he doesn't close the deal.
Oh my God.
He doesn't close the deal. Look at his career.
It's true.
He's been to 1 Super Bowl, he's been to 5 title games, and he's lost 4 of them. He went to the Super Bowl against the Patriots. We all know how that turned out for the Eagles. And he's now in his 2nd Super Bowl. Andy Reid is a good coach, but he needs a Super Bowl. I think if he gets the Super Bowl, he punches his ticket to 10.
Agreed.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. He's on the border right now. You can make the argument for him even if he never wins one, in my opinion. But if he wins this, he's definitely like no questions asked.
I don't want Reed to fall into the Martin Schottenheimer
category.
Because that's a category you don't want to have.
No, you do not.
No, that's a bad category. I think Andy Reid has a lot more pressure. I think both coaches have pressure because, and not only does both Reid have pressure to win the Super Bowl, but Kyle Shanahan has to do well to avenge that 20-3.
Yeah.
Because he was the offensive coordinator. And to play, I think what really hurt him is when he went. And Bob, you're gonna test this. You remember in that Super Bowl that the Patriots played against the Falcons, where Julio Jones made that unbelievable catch in Patriots territory.
It was over.
Of course.
And all he had to do was
run the ball.
Run the field goal, and the game is over.
Yeah.
That's all he had to do.
Kyle
Shanahan has to avenge that.
Yeah, I agree. That's just, you know what, James, you're absolutely right. That game was won. Julio Jones makes an unbelievable catch, as he always does. And
hype.
Devontae Freeman was on fire that Super Bowl. He could not be stopped. The Patriots could not stop him. But Kyle Shanahan got a little cute, a little cocky, and just
decides to throw the ball.
Decides to throw the ball.
I can't understand still.
And if you guys remember, they took the holding call. One of the linemen held Chris Long. It just.
And then they took the sack. Yep. That's what really killed him. The sack took him out of field goal range.
And here's another thing. And I think Kyle Shanahan, he learned his lesson this time. I think that still haunts him.
Oh, it has to.
And I think you're going to see him, if a situation like this presents itself again, James, this time he'll run the football with this tremendous running game, brother.
Oh, absolutely. If there's a situation where he sees the Chiefs are making a comeback, and we all know the Chiefs can put up points in bunches.
Yeah.
We know that he has a lead. He's going to run the ball. And as I said, run the ball, chew up clock, you give Mahomes less time to make the comeback. Because it's very hard to make the comeback when it's less than 2 minutes, when it's over 2 minutes. And you guys know that. Time, possession is key for the 49ers. You have, if you're holding the ball 35, 40 minutes, that means your running game is doing well, and Mahomes is on the sideline. If you're under 40 minutes, if you're 20 and under, that's bad. Because if the Chiefs, all the Chiefs can do is just put up points. And one thing with the Chiefs, if the Chiefs have like a 23 or something of that note, trust me, the Chiefs, you saw what Andy Reid did against the Titans. He ran the ball in the second half.
Yeah.
Which you're in possession to the Titans. So Reid is getting wise to where, listen, you're both come few and far between. You have a lead, the running game. But you saw Damian Williams getting some touches. You saw him McCoy getting the touches here and there. You saw some reverses that go on. So it is imperative that whoever has the lead, the running game has to be effective. This is going to be a battle. This is going to be a chess match. Because it's two teams, one known for its offense and one known for its running game and defense. So it's going to be a battle of whose strength is better. It's going to be a fun matchup. It's going to be a fun chess match.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah. Absolutely. Well said, my friend.
I think it's going to be a great one. I think they're the two best teams in the league. They've proved it throughout the season, except maybe Baltimore, you could argue, but they kind of went backwards. And Lamar was exposed a little bit, but we don't need to talk about them right now at all. But you put up a good point about Andy Reid. Here's one thing I think is being overlooked. How about this clock management in crucial situations? That hasn't always been the best.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is true. I mean, if you look earlier at that Texas game, Andy Reid was making some questionable coaching decisions that were scratching your head, and you're wondering, like, what are you doing? I mean, he's very fortunate that Bill O'Brien is the head coach of the Houston Texans.
Yes,
we feel the same exact way about this.
Yes, we do. And now he's the GM of the Texans.
And then, by the way, he's now the vice
president. Yep, he's now the GM too. He's calling the shots now.
Oh, that franchise is doomed. I feel bad for them. They will never win. They will never go anywhere in the playoffs with that man.
Across the trade immediately. but you look at that Texans game, guys, and you saw some questionable callings for Andy Reid, like
For sure.
Why are you on the 3rd and 10 play? Well, why are you doing check down? Why are you doing like different plays that you know that you're not customarily doing? Why are you letting your defense give up running games to getting swish cheese up? And you saw Houston's running game was very effective.
It was working.
It was working, and the uncharacteristic turnovers, it's something that has to be taken into account where Andy Reid has to do a better job at in-game decisions and clock management. Because as that gets glossed over, if he has a lead or if he's trailing and he's calling plays that are uncharacteristic of Andy Reid, then you're playing into the 49ers' hands.
Yeah.
And one thing that he has to do if he's going to be an attacking 49ers team is quick throws. Because one thing that you can do is you do quick throws, so that means the defense won't get home. But what the defense can do is you make quick throws, they put a hat on you. So it's a matter of attachment. It's a matter of chess with these two teams. It's really a chess match between Mahomes and Reid against Shanahan and the Niners defense. So it's a very compelling match. This might be probably one of the highest scoring Super Bowls that we've seen in a long
agree.
time.
Yeah, so speaking into that, so I'm guessing you would play the over. We were talking about some betting stuff before. Anything pop out? Do any prop bets? Any plays you want to let everyone know about?
I would probably go the over. I would go the over.
54.5 right now.
Oh, definitely. You're just giving away money. I would go the over. You're throwing out money. So that's that.
I might do that.
Is there a prop bet or not to touchdown Mahomes gonna throw?
Yeah. I think I could find it. Let me try to check really quick. I was looking at some of this stuff before. And then, what do you think? I think I know what you're leaning towards. The current line's 1.5 for the Chiefs. Who would you take in that situation?
I love the respect that they're giving the 49ers. I appreciate that. I've been doing a lot of things going back and forth, and I'm going to probably take the Chiefs and take the 1.5 and take the Chiefs on that one.
Yeah.
It's just that at the end of the day, it's just if it comes to a throwing matchup where I feel like it's going to be a throwing match, I got the Chiefs all day on that.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I feel. I feel like it's going to be all right, Jimmy G. Let's see if you can throw with the big boys.
I'm not sure if he can. No, me
I'm
either.
not sure Jimmy G can throw with the big boys because another thing that's underrated before I make my official pick is, do you not see how great the Honey Badger's been playing as of late?
That's a good point.
He's been playing really well. And Frank Clark, who not only talked the talk, but he backed up his talk.
Yeah, he's been outstanding.
Especially when he talked against Derrick Henry and saying that Derrick Henry is just a regular man.
Yeah.
He moved his 70-yard rush.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really... Yeah, Matthew's been great. He has 12 tackles. I don't think any picks or sacks to what I've seen, but he's been a force out there. We talked about Clark before with 4 sacks leading the Chiefs. He's just been a wrecking ball all over the fields. And another interesting thing we talked about before was Steve Ford's playing his former team now.
That's a lot of motivation. It's a motivation that he's going to be. Remember, he was the guy that caused the Chiefs.
Yeah. Yep, he jumped off sides. I'm still mad about that. I'm still not over that.
I'm serious about that. I know Bobby is very glad that he would be the most idiotic mistake in the title.
How could I not?
He loves it, obviously.
Absolutely.
He got
And
the
the thing
Super Bowl.
and here's the thing is, too, James, here's another thing. If you watch D Ford, he still lines up off sides every time. It's really funny. See?
Damn, I guess that's just like a way he lines up. There's something they just don't call it most times, but they decide to call it that time. I guess.
It's crazy how he gets away with it because every time
works.
he's over the line of scrimmage and they just don't call it. It's crazy.
I don't know. Is it like a touch over? Is it a lot over?
No,
like,
his helmet is halfway up past the line of scrimmage.
I haven't really noticed this as much.
Watch on Sunday. Watch on Sunday when we're watching this game. I guarantee.
I ain't gonna lie though. When
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm totally gonna be looking
I
at that.
ever since he did that, and he sent us to, and he helped. He literally saved our chances, and
Oh my
basically
God.
because of him, gave us a chance to win
Oh
the
my
Super Bowl, and now we
Oh
are.
my God!
I thank D Ford so
Jesus
much, and
Christ.
literally I watched it. I look at those things. He lines up offsides every time.
That's crazy to me. I'm totally gonna be looking for this.
Well, you can't call offside every single
Of course,
play.
yeah, but it's crazy how he gets away with it. They at least don't call it once, because when he's on the field and his head, watch, I'll show you guys. His helmet will be over the line, the blue line, when they have the blue line on the TV, and his helmet's over that, literally halfway
Oh my
past that blue
God.
line. It's crazy.
I can't. It's too much.
You know
But
another X factor that we haven't talked about? Richard Sherman is back in the Super Bowl.
oh yeah.
That was going to be motivating to play well. Because remember, the last time Richard Sherman was at the Super Bowl was when Marshawn Lynch
Oh my God.
Marshawn Lynch made that run to the 1 yard line.
Oh my
He
God.
decides to shoot and throw the ball.
Oh my God.
I've said this, Bobby, and I've said it before. Pete Carroll is so lucky that he has had Russell Wilson as a quarterback.
Agreed.
That play, that moment, I would have fired Pete Carroll immediately.
So did I. He deserves to be fired on the spot. He should have been fired on the spot. That was a crime.
You are, which is why I worry. So that's why I'm worried that I'm hoping Shanahan learns from his mistakes and actually does better clock management and say, you know what, guys, and time is ticking, down by 4, the 1 yard line, I'm running the damn ball.
Yeah, right?
I'm running the damn ball. That's what I'm doing. I don't care.
I really hope you're right. And I found the prop for Mahomes passing touchdowns. It's actually like stealing, but the problem is the line's not great. You guys won't even believe this. It's set at 1.5 touchdowns, but for him to go over, it's minus 280.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's a very interesting bet.
It's just like a big risk in case it doesn't happen. That's the only problem. But like, it's almost a short thing.
That is a short
It's
thing.
almost a short thing that Mahomes is throwing more than 1 touchdown. Again, that's just kind of you're throwing away money. What other bets did you guys talk about earlier before I came on?
We actually haven't talked much about any of them yet. I was going to go into them a little bit, but the main ones I was looking at the spread and was like the over-under. There's just so many props. Like, there's,
Well, I will say this though. It's gonna go. You're gonna have to be over because it's gonna have a lot of points scored. Not only by offense but defense. I'm gonna call it right now. I think both teams gonna have at least a turnover.
I can see. I can see Jimmy G having 2 turnovers. I can see 2 picks out of him.
And I can see. You know what I'm calling? I can see probably
A strip sack for Mahomes.
A strip sack. Probably a strip sack from Mahomes or a fumble by Hartman
Or Hill maybe.
Or
Who
Hill,
knows?
yeah, like I can't see Mahomes throwing the pick, but I can see Mahomes getting a strip sack.
I can see a strip sack. Yeah.
I can see Jimmy G throwing a couple of picks. So I'm thinking both teams are going to call score, but I'm going to say this. I think we're going to have a field goal get blocked.
Ooh, that's a
Ooh,
nice. How about this? Any return touchdowns?
I think the Chiefs are going to have probably a punt return for a touchdown.
I can see. I'm calling. All right, let me see how I'll do this. So I'll say, I think 2 to 3 turnovers for 49ers. I think the Chiefs get 1 turnover. I think you'll see a kick return touchdown. I don't know about block field goal, but I think you'll get a miss. Even though both kickers are actually very good, we haven't talked about that. Both these kickers are really pretty legit, honestly.
Oh yeah, but remember, it's in Miami, so you don't know what the temperature could be that day. You don't know, so no one knows. So it could rain or it could be windy. You don't know. Remember, the Super Bowl is in Miami, so even though it's in a warm climate, you don't know what that day could be. So kickers that are automatically like Robert Gould or who's the Chiefs kicker?
If it's Bucher,
Harrison Bucker.
right?
Yeah, Buckner. So Buckner and Robbie Gould, you don't know. Like maybe one of them could miss a field goal or one of them
Yeah, I mean, I could see a miss. Like I said, I could definitely see one of them missing. They are both pretty good normally, but all this stuff has to be factored in the Super Bowl. Everything counts. Every play, every yard, every positional group, every special teamer, every person counts in the Super Bowl.
Remember, this was the last game of the year.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's so sad.
All right,
this
how
is
about-
a long
yeah.
off season.
All right, how about this? How about the trick plays? Let's see some. What do you guys think? Who has the trick plays up their sleeves? Do we see any tricks?
Yeah, I think you could. I'm going to go with the 49ers doing a trick play. I could see them. I could see Kyle Shanahan getting a little cute and doing something like that. Definitely.
I could see. Yeah, I could see. I would say both, but I would probably lean more towards the 49ers, especially if they get possession first and they have like a third and 8 play or a second down play that you're thinking that it's going to be a run play. It could be, something like that. Like I think the 49ers pull into their bag of tricks because especially the Niners that where the Chiefs are committed run and then boom trick play. So I think the Chiefs will be caught off guard.
I could see that.
I agree, definitely.
But I also wouldn't rule out Andy Reid throwing a trick in there. I mean, why not? It's the last game. He might as well leave everything on the table. I think they could get creative. Maybe you'll see a reverse pass or something. I wouldn't be surprised if you see some wildcat at the Tyreek Hill or something, maybe.
I could see a play where Nicole Hartman throws the bomb to Tyreek Hill.
That'd be pretty. Oh, I was thinking about something like that too. That's pretty funny. Like, I could definitely see a trick pass in there. I could see Debo throwing the ball for the 49ers for some reason.
Yeah.
It's because, remember, like we said earlier, I don't care how good Richard Sherman is, he is not going to give up a Tyreek Hill.
No, absolutely
not. He's not at all.
And if you watch him, James, even Darrelle Revis called him out. He got in man-to-man coverage. He got burnt.
Oh yeah, that's true. Remember, Richard Sherman is primarily a zone corner.
Yeah,
yes, he is.
He is not a man-to-man.
No, he's not. No, he's a zone guy.
He's not Darrelle Revis. You can attest to this, Bob, that you've seen Revis play in his time. When Revis is healthy, man-to-man,
there's nobody. No, there was nobody. He was amazing. He was best in the game.
When you'll get a play here or two there, like Randy Moss got him once. But
yeah, I was talking about
the one-handed, yeah.
No, that was.
But you're talking about Randy Moss, one top 3 receiver of all time.
Yeah.
Like any other receiver, like Calvin Johnson was great. He didn't put up numbers against Darrelle Revis.
No, he did not.
AJ Green.
Nope, nothing.
He didn't put up numbers against Darrelle Revis.
Reggie Wayne, you got
The only receiver.
Chad Johnson, he blanketed.
All the great receivers. The only thing I saw where it gave him trouble, Sammy Watkins, when he was with the second stint with the Jets, gave him trouble in Buffalo. And when he was with the Patriots, and Jordy Nelson just ate his lunch that game.
He's not very good against quick.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
But then again, like in order to cover a star receiver, you need a simple corner that's quick on their feet.
Exactly.
Because remember, people like Darrelle Revis are made for one-on-one type receivers, like your typical 6'4", 6'5", tall, wide receiver. Darrelle Revis got that. But like I said, Darrelle Revis was in his prime against a guy like Tyreek Hill. He had trouble. I'm not saying Tyreek Hill would own him. I'm saying he would have trouble. Like Tyreek Hill would get a couple of plays on.
100%.
I agree, and I watched him a lot, obviously, with the Jets when he was really good as well. And the one thing that got him also was DeAndre Hopkins towards the end. But in his prime, he was step for step with almost anyone. The only thing is, like we said, the speed guys were his only pet peeve. He wasn't the fastest, too, but the technique and everything was, like, spot on. Like, no one had better form than Revis.
No.
Julie, if you saw that pass play that Darrelle Revis did against the Seahawks, you saw Darrelle Revis jam the other receiver, which caused Butler to make the pick.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's a good point, honestly.
Yeah, Bobby, am I right? You saw that, right?
Yep.
You saw Darrelle Revis jam the other receiver, which caused Malcolm Butler to make a play. If Darrelle Revis would do that job, it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point that gets overlooked on that play.
It's not just Russell Wilson made a bad throw. It's Darrelle Revis made a good play for
Yeah.
Davis and Butler. So Duran's not only a great corner, he's a smart corner.
And a Super Bowl champion at that. And a Super Bowl champion at that, my friend. Definitely. He was one of the best to ever do it.
He wasn't a champion with you.
I don't like to talk about it still. I'm not over it. It makes me sad because he was a Jet and he ends up winning a championship with the Patriots. Oh, it's sickening to me. Especially the way he won it at the 1 yard line and how I wanted the Seahawks to win. Oh, it's bad. But I guess I'm happy he has one instead of having none, I guess. Even though it's with the Patriots. Yuck.
And speaking of, I got, before I make my pick, a quick point of Dante Starnecchia. Speaking of that, before Dante Starnecchia retired.
Yes, he did.
Wait, who?
Patriots offensive line coach.
Oh, okay.
He retired today. He was with the Patriots for 50 years, my friend.
Wow. 50? Are you serious?
He was with us for a long time.
Holy.
He's been with the since as long as he's been a coach. He's been with the Patriots.
That's incredible.
So you mean to tell me he was with the Patriots during the dark ages?
Yes,
he has to have been.
He's like 80-something years old.
Oh my God.
Oh my God! Well, first of all, God bless, he deserves retirement.
Seriously.
You mean to tell me the guy's responsible for 6 Super Bowl championships?
And he's been coaching for 50 years.
He's been. He has 6 Super Bowl. Actually, I take that back. No, he doesn't. He doesn't have 6. He has 5. He wasn't our offensive line coach in 2014. He retired. We had him come back.
Oh wow.
He has 5.
Okay, wow.
That's interesting.
You mean to tell me he's responsible for 5 Super Bowl championships?
5 offensive lines that are Super Bowl winning teams with the same team. He's a legend.
That's unbelievable.
I mean,
he's an absolute legend.
You know what? He deserves to retire. And now, after going back and forth, and I made my predictions. I made my prediction who I think is going to win the Super Bowl. I'm going back and forth with this, but I'm leaning towards Patrick Mahomes getting his first Super Bowl championship and beginning the Patrick Mahomes era with the final score: Chiefs 35, San Francisco 29.
Ooh,
I love it.
I'll tell you what. It's very, very. I like your pick. I'm going to tell you this. I disagree with who you have winning, but I do agree with everything you said.
That's
what can
Bobby's
happen.
pick.
So I'll tell you my pick. I'm going with the 49ers. I think that this defense will be ready to play. I think that Patty Mahomes will make plays. However, I think the defensive line of the 49ers is just going to give Patty Mahomes too much he can handle, and the Chiefs offense can handle. And I think that, you know what, Jimmy Garoppolo, everybody doesn't think he can make the big plays. I think he's going to surprise everybody. He'll do just enough to get it done. He'll pass for over 200 yards for the first time this postseason. And I do think that he will score a touchdown or 2. And I'm just going to say this, in my opinion, I'm going with the 49ers 36-33.
Wow.
And I will tell you this, they're going to win this game because Jimmy Garoppolo is taking them on a game-winning drive at the end of the game, and they're going to have Robbie Gould kick the game winner.
That would be some storyline.
So let me tell you this, James, and let me tell you, Julian, like this. You guys remember how Brady his first Super Bowl, his last drive? That's what you're going to see from Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh boy,
that's what you're going to see.
What's not?
Oh my God! That Jimmy G would win his 3rd Super Bowl overall and his first as a starter.
Yeah, he has 2 rings sitting on a bench. It's crazy.
Yeah, he literally just held the clipboard and picked up 2 rings. I mean, that'd be pretty cool, I guess.
Julie, I can't argue with that. Julie, what do you got? I got the Chiefs. Bobby got the 49ers.
Here we go.
All right, so I got to break the tie between the 3 of us. And I think people have a feeling of what I'm going for, but I'm going Chiefs. I think that I'm with you, James. I really like your thinking with the pick. I'm going to go a little lower score. I'm going to give it a 31-28. I think they go over by a little bit. I think you'll see high scoring, but not as high as you guys think because the defenses have been good, especially the 49ers. So I think early on, I think it's going to be a little bit slow starting out. That's another bet I want to talk about. But Who was you guys' MVPs?
My MVP, well, if the Chiefs don't win this game, the MVP is going to be Patrick Mahomes.
I can't disagree with that. Who's yours?
If the 49ers win this game, the MVP, in my opinion, is going to be I'm going to go with Raheem Mostert.
That's a good one. I like that.
If the 49ers win this game, I will agree with Bobby. It will definitely be Raheem Mostert because Raheem Mostert is going to get the bulk of the carry. I think Breeda's going to get some burn here and there, but if the 49ers get them to win this game, it's going to be on the back of Raheem Mostert. But I think as Jimmy G gets better with the 49ers, I think Jimmy G will probably get some MVPs here and there. And I will say this: if the 49ers win and they get 6, I'm going to say this right now. I could see Jimmy G. I'm not saying he's going to be great, but I will say,
oh wow,
he could have a career. Hear me out. He's not going to be great because Brady's on a class by himself. We all agree that Brady's the GOAT. No matter how much you hate him, no matter how much you dislike him, he is the GOAT. There's no debate.
No,
but I will say, I'm going to say this. Mahomes will probably be the most accolade, like MVP and all pros.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy G will be a winner. And I think at the end of the day, Mahomes will probably get a Super Bowl 1 or 2. I think Jimmy G is going to have more Super Bowls than Mahomes.
Wow, that's interesting.
That's a very hot take, and I agree. I could see it.
I mean, it could happen. It was a long way to go. It's very interesting. My money's still on Mahomes, but I know the 49ers have a more complete football team. I would say.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm still thinking the Chiefs, but I'm saying that
I get
with the way Jimmy G is playing, it's reminding me of a young Brady.
Oh, okay.
In the sense of remember, he's his first year starting. Brady was that good his first year starting. But
absolutely not. Yeah,
right. I don't remember as much because I wasn't watching as much back then.
When Brady was starting his first year, Brady wasn't that. It didn't take Brady until his third, fourth year when you truly saw how great he really is.
One thing about Brady in his early stages, he was very raw. He could get the ball downfield. Troy Brown helped him a lot. And the defense of the Patriots back then was always stellar and helped them out tremendously. And the one thing about Brady is he's always good at the checkdowns. Get the ball to the running backs, take what the defense gives you. And that's what Brady did early in his career. And once he got, you're exactly right, you're 100%. Once he got 3 or 4 years down the road, that is when he showed you how smart he is, how good he is, how he picks you apart. He reads your defense, and he's just a winner. And I agree. And James, I'm telling you, I agree with you. Jimmy Garoppolo's a winner. If you see his record as a starting quarterback so far, I know he was injured last year, but when he starts, he wins games. He's a winner.
Oh yeah, and that's what I said the whole. Listen, I think Mahomes will get some Super Bowls. I think Mahomes is too talented not win Super Bowl. I think Mahomes will get a Super Bowl or 2 here and there. But what I'm saying is Mahomes is electrifying. Mahomes reminds me of the sense of a Dan Marino with the Rams, like where he's electrifying. He jumps off the kid Doc's office.
Right.
He will come and electrify, but when it comes to winning, I think Jimmy G is going to be a winner. And I'm not just counting 2 Super Bowls he got when he was on the bench with the Patriots. I'm talking about the way that Jimmy G is, the confidence, the swagger, what he's learned from Tom Brady. Because you have to understand, Jimmy G learned a lot from Brady. Why do you think Belichick don't want to get rid of Jimmy G?
Exactly.
Belichick saw something in Jimmy Garoppolo that not many people saw. That's why he drafted Jimmy G from a small school. Remember, he went from a small school. He didn't go to
Eastern Illinois.
Michigan or Ohio State. He went to Central Michigan?
Eastern Illinois.
Thank you. A small school, Eastern Illinois. No one's ever heard of it. Like, I know it's a small school, Eastern Michigan. No one's ever heard of. The guy, like, Belichick never saw something. Jimmy G's like, this guy is special. And Jimmy G the Dolphins did not want to get rid of Jimmy G because I know that Brady's not a this guy. Something about this guy. And you guys see the start of something special. He got the swagger. The guy worked hard. The guy wants to be great. Jimmy G's not just a guy Jimmy G wants to be great. And that's what I love about quarterbacks. And they're not just the pretty things. He wants to be great. And I think Jimmy G is going to be a winner. I'm telling you, mark it down. Jimmy is going to be the most electrifying box office guy. Jimmy G is going to be a winner.
All right. I mean, we'll take note of this for sure. This will stay in the archives. And, you make a good point because Jimmy G is he's not that experienced still. He's been around for a while, but he hasn't even played 2 full seasons as a starting quarterback.
No, he has not played. He has not played some full seasons, but you're seeing Jimmy G. This is Jimmy G. After Jimmy G got injured. This is his first year healthy. After that injury, he's healthy now, and you're seeing Bobby. You can accept this. You're seeing when you saw Jimmy G get drafted, you're seeing what the potential can be. Remember, Jimmy G is just raw. This is his first year starting. Wait until he gets more under his belt, and you'll see what a start he really will.
Agreed, and it still bothers me that the Patriots traded him. It really does.
Thank God.
It really, because that was the heir apparent. It's still to this day it haunts me because we're still going to have to look for one down the line, and maybe this draft has one. So but I agree. Jimmy Garoppolo has star power. I think with a couple more seasons under his belt, he could be one of the he has potential to be a very successful quarterback.
Absolutely, and people, there are people who also say Brady's a goal, and he's got 6 Super Bowls. It's not just because Brady has the 6 Super Bowls. You don't know why I say Brady is the GOAT. Brady's the GOAT not just because he has 6 championships. Brady's the GOAT because of his work ethic, his desire to be great. And Bob, you could have cut this one because you're a Patriot fan. His work ethic, the way he's hard on himself, the way he's hard on his teammates, the way he's hard. His guys should be great. His drive to be the best. That's what makes you a GOAT. That's why Brady is the GOAT.
I couldn't agree with you more. Everything he brings to the table. There's games where Tom Brady, we win games, and Tom Brady, his stat line is 18 for 31, 154 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. And some quarterbacks will say, "Hey, a win. Hey, we won the game. I don't care." But I don't care. And Brady's not a guy who cares about stats at all. Tom Brady's all about the team, and that's what I love about him. He's not selfish. But he'll say at the podium, "I feel like this is a loss on me because we didn't play well." He wants to be dominant at all times. He'll take a win. Definitely, a win is a win, but he wants to be dominant. If he doesn't play well, he takes it in his mind as a loss. That's what makes him great.
Absolutely, and that's why I think Jimmy G got that little Brady in him because when you look at Jimmy G, even at that championship game against Green Bay, even though he was run the ball, you can just look at the sidelines for him. You can look at him saying he's happy that his team is successful, but he feels like he's not contributing to his team doing well. You can see it's eating him inside that he only threw the ball 8 times.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's gotta be be frustrating.
He wants to throw the rock, definitely, and unleash him,
We'll have to see if they do it this Super Bowl. We're about to wrap up, but I want to say one last bet I think you guys should look at is the second half points compared to the first half points. They were saying it might be minus 120, and the bet for the second half is the bet to make because I believe 13 out of the last 17 Super Bowls or something like that, it's gone. The second half's been more scoring, or 4 out of 13. The ratio is good for the second half to have more points, and it makes sense because a lot of times you start slow in the first half, a lot of nerves and all that.
I think you should bet the second half because I wouldn't be surprised that the halftime score is under 20 points because.
Oh wow, you think that low?
Yeah, I think because teams are going to start to feel each other out. I think it could probably be a
10-7.
Yeah, like a 10-7 type of game, or like a 13-6 type of game.
Maybe.
I could definitely see that. Because I can't see anything higher than 20. I think the second half is going to be where you're going to get your money's worth.
Yeah, that's a bet I'll probably be looking to make, honestly. That over and potentially Chiefs. We'll see. Hopefully we get some money out of this if we end up going that route.
Absolutely. But guys, thank you for having me on.
Thank you for being on, bro.
Of course, we got to do this again in the future. Baseball's coming soon. We'll have more to talk about football with free agency and the draft. You're going to be in the draft in Vegas, so we definitely want to incorporate you into our draft show.
Yeah.
Last year we did a live draft show from Atlantic City for like the first 11 picks, so we never told you that because you didn't know us back then. So like, we're going to do something similar this year. It might be Bethlehem instead of Atlantic City. We're trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I know you're going to Vegas, so
You're going all out, brother.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in Vegas, so I'll be probably like live tweeting my thoughts during the draft. I'll see you guys on Sunday. Julian will be in Tampa, probably talk about some spring training, about how the team looks.
yeah.
Guys, thank you again so much. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Oh, thank you, bro. Thank you so much, bro.
Thanks for coming out. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.
You too, man.
Looking forward to Sunday. All right, so that was a great call from James. He's a great friend of ours. I've met him through Yankees Twitter. We're going to hang out with him in the Super Bowl. Bobby's going to get to meet him for the first time, so we're looking forward to that. It's going to be fun. All right, so we're going to wrap this up.
Yep.
We're just going to say, look for us on the Super Bowl. We'll be posting polls on who everyone thinks is going to win. We'll have some we'll have a preview. We'll have a recap from my house. We'll be watching it here. Things are going to get pretty wild on Super Bowl Sunday, and we're going to have our famous Super Bowl picture again, so everyone check that out.
My shirt just finally came today in the mail, thank
look
God.
at that. So
because they said it wasn't going to come till the 4th, and I was like, nah.
Oh, yeah, I have a shirt hidden in the closet, actually, that everyone's going to get to see, so I'm not going to give it away yet, but Bobby knows what it is.
Oh, I know what it is, and people, people are going to have to wait and see what I got. They'll be shocked at what I got, so we'll see.
Yeah, so here, last departing thoughts. We didn't get into the prop bets, kind of lost track of time a little too much. Not going to go into that. It's just we don't have the time. Sorry if anyone's looking for that. We just can't do it right now. But everyone can look up the prop bets. If you have any questions, let me know. And let him know. We'll answer them. GT Sports Talk 2, Twitter and Instagram. Follow us, please. We'll follow everyone back. Subscribe to us on YouTube, GT Sports Talk. That's what most of you will probably end up watching us on, I would think. Apple Podcasts you could download as well. GT Sports Talk. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Have a great Super Bowl Sunday. We look forward to hearing from you. I'm Julian Gallardi.
I'm Bobby Thompson.
And we'll see what happens.